All right guys, so in this section we're going to be talking about how to pick a gun. Maybe you only have one gun, or maybe you've never touched or bought or fired a gun ever before and you don't even know where to start. What kinds of guns are there? How do you know what to get? Just, you don't know where to start. So I'm going to go over a bunch of different kinds and then kind of show you the pros and cons, because the answer is it depends. It really depends on what you need. For example, you might not need something like this. You don't need the collapsible stock. You don't need the grenade launcher. You don't need the quad rail. You don't need a 1x6 optic. This is just for you. This is overkill. There's no need. Plus, it might be out of your budget. However, if you think that there's a high probability where you'll need to launch flares, smoke, noisemakers, or maybe you just want to have a little bit of fun shooting some fireworks out of your tube, maybe that's the case. I know last year when I started seeing people getting pulled from their cars and shot and beaten, I was like, you know what, it might not hurt to have a tube on my gun, because when you start shooting pyrotechnics into large crowds, they tend to disperse pretty quickly. Usually they have their strength in numbers, but when it comes down to it, when you're talking business, they tend to take off. So something like this, probably not necessary. Now, something else might be something like this. Now, this might look a little bit intimidating if you're not familiar or don't recognize it. This is actually a pellet gun. It shoots a .177 caliber bullet using air pressure only. You simply crank this down, flip it back up, the air is compressed, and then you shoot it. Now, it might not seem like something you want for home defense or whatever the case is, but maybe you want to be able to hunt. This is great for small game. I've had some friends and myself who have gone camping. We've actually shot some squirrels with pellet guns exactly like this. It also is, it's called like the Gamma Whisper. So it does have a little bit of noise suppression on it. It's not completely silent, but it's definitely not loud. Definitely a lot less than like a 22, for example. But this could be a great option if you want to be quieter or if you want to hunt some small game. Something like this, 150 bucks, you're good to go. And if you don't think that something like this can do some damage, check this out real quick. So now let's see if they will go completely through one piece of plywood. All right, let's check it out. So there it is, you can see straight through. And there it is lodged in the second one. So that right there is a 1/2 inch. Half-inch plywood, and it went in here maybe another, well, it's definitely going through 1/2 inch plywood. So now that you've seen that, I hope you realize that a pellet gun is definitely not a toy. Now, maybe you have parents or grandparents who left you something like this Marlin 30-30 lever action. Now, it's not perfect for hunting or home defense, but it'll work just fine for both of those. So another option might be a hunting rifle. A lot of times these will come as a bolt action. I just happen to know somebody who has a breech loader. So it actually loads in the back here, and it's a single shot at a time. And this is actually 280. So it's a semi-common hunting round. Usually you'll see 30-06 or 308 is kind of the most common hunting round. But something like this with just a standard, 9-10 power optic, single shot rifle, this can work great, but it's really going to be best for hunting, and that's about it. I wouldn't use this for home defense, as it can go through multiple layers of drywall, brick, block, wood, depending on the thickness. Not really great for home defense, but definitely a good option for hunting. Now, probably my favorite and best recommendation to get started for home defense is actually going to be something like a pump action shotgun. You can pick these up for, I think I've seen them as cheap as $260 for maybe a Maverick or a Mossberg, but really they're going to be in the $300 to $500 range, so very budget friendly. And there's nothing more intimidating to an intruder than hearing, and that's kind of a universal sign for you're not welcome here. Now, the other thing that I like about a shotgun is the versatility of the ammunition. You can get birdshot, buckshot, slugs, whatever fits your needs, you can use that. So you don't have to worry about one type of ammo. You can have a single slug, you can have multiple pellets, or you can have fine pellets like birdshot for hunting birds. So for the price point, this is going to be your best steel with the most versatility and most simplicity when it comes down to everything. Now, let's dig into the meat and potatoes of why you're probably watching this video, which is you want to figure out what kind of handgun to get. Handguns are very common and popular for first-time buys because they're portable, because they're small. You can carry them with you, you can keep it in your house for home defense, has a lot of different uses. Now, everything here is actually pistol. This is an AR pistol, but I wanted to show you a little bit of the difference. Now, it's only because the ATF says that if you have a barrel shorter than 16 inches, it's considered a pistol. But I wanted to show you that you can have something like this for home defense if you want. It is smaller. I do have a light on it so you can see around in the dark if you need to. I have a red dot optic, no magnification. And when it comes to something like home defense, you're really not even going to be looking through the optic, or you're going to be looking through the optic with both eyes open. This can be a fun option. However, do keep in mind that the 5.56 or 223 round will go through multiple layers of drywall. So you have to be very careful with your shot placement if you're using this in a home defense situation. I wouldn't recommend, but it is an option. So let's quickly look at the famous or infamous 1911s. Here I've got a full size, and the reason why this might not be the best first pistol for you is it is a large handgun. Now, the grip is a little bit thinner in general, but you're only looking at 7 rounds per magazine. Now, whether you're a beginner or an advanced shooter, 7 rounds probably won't cut it regardless of what you're doing. The only reason this is still around is because it operates and functions just well as a handgun. However, it is 100 years old, so we've made a lot of improvements over the years. If you are a big fan of the 1911 feel, the design, and you don't mind being limited to 7 rounds, you can find smaller versions. This one has a shorter barrel, so it makes it a lot easier to carry concealed if you want, and it even has a slightly shorter grip. So just an option for you. Now, everybody knows about Glocks, and in fact, I've actually noticed quite a few people will call any handgun that they see a Glock. Now, if you don't know, Glock is a brand, but they do have a lot of models. This is a 21, which is just a full-sized 45 caliber. The reason I like this as an alternative to the 1911 is the magazine does hold 13 rounds as opposed to 7. So if you're a fan of the 45 caliber and you just want a larger magazine capacity, Glock 21 could be a good model for you. Now, let me move over here to my actually favorite handgun at the moment, which is a Smith & Wesson M&P 9. The reason I like this is I have small hands, and so the grip is a little bit smaller. It's a thinner sized gun than this Glock, which is very fat in my hands. It is a 9mm. It does hold 17 rounds, so I really like that. If I only have 1 mag in the gun and 1 in my pocket, I'm pretty set for pretty much any situation that I'm going to run into. If I need more ammo than that, I probably either shouldn't be in that situation or I should be rolling full kit. But most situations, I'm just going to need a gun in the mag and then a spare as a backup. Now, if that is a little bit too large for you, or maybe you carry it in a bag and you want a smaller version, Smith & Wesson makes an MP Shield. Now, this little guy is a little bit too small for me. As you can see, my bottom finger hangs off here, and then just getting a grip here, I'll show you with a regular mag here, it's just a little bit too short for me. Now, if you have really small hands, this could be a good option for you, but it does present an option that is a lot smaller. Now, if you want, you can get magazines that have an extender on the bottom. This one holds 7 rounds, this one holds 8, and it has an additional length on the bottom. So now all of my fingers can sit on the bottom, and I can easily grip it and hold it comfortably, just like I would a full size. It's also a lot thinner side to side, and obviously size-wise, significantly shorter. So this can be a very, very good concealed option if you want to have something that you carry every day, everywhere you go. So I want you to consider all of these options, start looking around. The easiest thing and the best thing I'd recommend is go to a gun range. They're gonna have tons of options for you to rent, and start renting them. Usually it's only 20 bucks per lane per hour, and what you can do is you can actually go use one gun, test it out. You have to pay for the ammo or bring your own, bring it back to the counter, and you can actually switch it out within the same hour for a different handgun. Most ranges operate like that. So you can try out 3 to 5 different handguns that you like based off of the look, the magazine capacity, the size, the shape. Feel the grip, feel the trigger. What do you like stock before you make modifications to it? And try all those out for a small fee and see what you like before you make a purchase. Then once you get a feel for all of the different types and styles, you'll know what you like, and then you can go out and purchase the first one and make sure that it's right for you.